So, guys, we are back with the continuing interview of the wonderful, the inestimable Ro Wow. So, Ro, as we were sitting here, and I was gazing ever so longingly at your chest.
Oh my!
I happened to notice that there's a logo on there that I'm not quite familiar with. It doesn't say Realm Maintenance.
It doesn't.
What is that, my friend?
So I don't know if the camera. Okay, so now the camera can see it. All right. Okay, so you can actually hold this button up so they can see it. So what that logo is has to do with a little project that I'm working on, and it's kind of a change that's coming to what I'm doing podcasting-wise. Now, Realm Maintenance is not going anywhere, but after doing this show for about 4 years, I started doing Realm Maintenance, and I focused mainly on World of Warcraft podcasts, and my love for Blizzard games and stuff started in World of Warcraft. I was a co-host on All Things Azeroth. I appear quite frequently on Azeroth Roundtable. I obviously love the World of Warcraft, continue to play it, even though I still have not received a legendary. Blizzard, what the hell? But I love World of Warcraft. I miss talking about World of Warcraft, which might be obvious to people who've listened to Realm Maintenance and noticed that at the beginning of the show, I normally talk about WoW a lot lately. So I've decided that it's time to go back to making a podcast about World of Warcraft. Realm Maintenance is going to stay exactly how it is, except that starting next year in January, I'm going to be putting out Realm Maintenance every other week instead of every week. Don't freak out. You're still going to get the same amount of podcast news, if not more so, because I'll have 2 weeks worth of stuff to catch up on. Still going to do podcaster interviews. Everything that you know about Realm Maintenance now is still going to happen. The thing is, during the weeks that Realm Maintenance is not out, so alternating each other week, there is the rolling restart. Because as you know, Chris, when there's not Realm Maintenance, we have rolling restarts. It's only natural. So the Rolling Restart podcast, like I said, starting in January, although we'll have a special episode 0 in December is the plan. And I'm going to have a rotating list of 4 co-hosts, tentatively calling them the 4 horsemen of the Rolling Restart. Although it's actually 2 men and 2 ladies, people that some of you may be very familiar with. Belle from the Pwnecast is one of them. Medicakes, Ginge, formerly from Epic Podcast and Saturday Morning Wow, she is another. And then we have John Jagger from Azeroth Roundtable, really great guy. He's going to be on there. And rounding out the crew, a podcaster doesn't do WoW podcasts anymore, but he did a little show back in the day called Sheep Moon. His name's D2D, a great friend of mine. I loved hearing his perspective and take on WoW, which has changed over the past several months because he's become a bit more of a casual player, which is interesting. And there you go. That's what we're going to start with. And just every other week, one of those 4 people will be talking with me, and we'll spend about 15, 20, 25 minutes, maybe an hour, but I want to keep it relatively short. Just picking like one topic in World of Warcraft. It might be current events. It might be something completely off of current events, and just have some fun talking about WoW, because I miss that stuff to death. It became clear the more that I was doing Realm Maintenance, and I mean, I love all the other Blizzard games that are out there, but I like talking about WoW, and I want to talk about WoW not just by myself. I want to bounce my thoughts and opinions off of someone, and I want them to tell me what they think, and I want to have a dialogue. I want to have a dialogue with them and have the listeners enjoy the hell out of it. So I'm really excited about the Rolling Restart. Like I said, there'll be an episode 0 on the Realm Maintenance feed in December, and then it will probably get its own podcast feed for January. So please look forward to it.
So guys, there you go. Amazing breaking news.
Breaking news.
Right here live from BlizzCon. It's not just Blizzard that's coming out with big reveals. Ro is dropping the love, dropping some amazing news here. And we get more Ro. We get Ro talking about other, newer, awesomer things. I'm totally down for this.
Chris, my head is way too big already. Please do not make it any bigger.
Having more Ro is always a good thing. Now, Ro, I've been asking everybody a question before I let them get out of here. And I want to ask you, what has been your biggest highlight of this year be it a panel, be it a hug, be it rapping with Reynad, which is totally what you should call that interview segment.
Rapping with Reynad.
And you should have got him to do a little, like, just at the end, like, could you do a rap? Maybe if you see it, that should be a thing. It's so not going to happen. It's a horrible idea. But what has been your highlight of BlizzCon so far?
The Reynad interview was a good one, but I almost think I want to call that the number one right now, but there's still half of BlizzCon left to go, so there may be another moment. But, you know, the one thing I do want to bring up, and it actually surprised me, the Darkmoon Faire, which is going up on the 3rd floor. One of the things about my plan for BlizzCon is, outside of going to the Warcraft panel, because they mentioned nothing about it in the opening ceremony, so I had to go to the Warcraft panel to see what the heck is going on. I haven't gone to any of the other, like, what's next panels, so I'm going to catch all that on the virtual ticket. I wanted to spend more time in the areas that aren't going to be covered on the virtual ticket. I figure get my money's worth out of the BlizzCon ticket, right? So do the things that I cannot do later, and the Darkmoon Faire is a big part of it. Specifically, just before the Well Played party, actually, I was wandering around the Darkmoon Faire, and they had at the voice actors stage a whole bunch of voice actors that do a number of different characters. You had Patrick Seitz, who does Garrosh and Arthas. You had the voice of Tracer. She was flown down. BlizzCon is her first convention as a voice actress. She was flown down from England to participate in that, so I got to hear the voice of Tracer, and they did this comedy skit. It was a Heroes of the Storm comedy hour thing where they had these skits and the voice actors would be in character. They did Chromie and Tracer's Excellent Adventure, okay? And it was freaking amazing, and I wish this thing was on video for the virtual ticket. It is a outright crime that thing was not on the virtual ticket, because it was hilarious. It was one of the best moments about BlizzCon that I've had so far today, because, and I wonder, maybe it wouldn't be so special if everyone got to see it. Maybe part of the specialness behind it is because I got to see something that not many people would get to see. So maybe that has something to do with it. But just overall, just being able to see that talent, that voice actor talent, stuff like that, put their stuff on display and improvise and see how they do it without being in a studio and such. It was so entertaining and fascinating, and everyone just ate that stuff up. So yeah, and it just drives home the point that I honestly feel that people get a lot out of the virtual ticket, don't get me wrong, but the way BlizzCon grows and grows and the virtual ticket coverage has not grown, it's something that I want the folks of Blizzard to look at and to consider expanding, because guys, if you get the virtual ticket, you're getting a good part of the story, but you are getting far from the whole story. So yeah, that's just one big thing. I love that. And this party is another thing high on the list here. I mean, I'm loving getting to be on this live stream with you. That's a highlight too. I'm having a hell of a time, and it's a blast.
Right on. Well, Ro, thank you so very much for joining us. It's funny, I wanted to pull out one thing that you mentioned, the voice actors and their talent and what they do. Yeah. They are incredible. They're amazing. Yeah. But just so you know, the love that we have seen in the chat, the respect that this community has for you, you are one of the voice actors with the incredible amount of talent that makes this community better day in and day out. Thank you for what you do. And before I let you go, how can people find you on the internet? Before I say that, I want, for you people in the chat room, I just want to give you a very simple message. First of all, thank you. I'm humbled. Second of all, I'm just a guy who plays World of Warcraft and a whole bunch of Blizzard games, and I had some encouragement and some guts to make content about it. I did it, people liked it, and I started doing it more, and it went on from there. Any of you in the chat room, I don't care how old you are, what you look like, how good of a voice that you think you may or may not have, any single one of you in the chat room
can do what I do on this show. If you just kick yourself in the butt and say, I'm going to make something, the world's your stage. And do it. If you've ever had the motivation or the interest in putting something out there, where it's a YouTube video, where it's just live streaming you playing World of Warcraft, where it's putting out a podcast, I'm going to go full Shia LaBeouf here. Do it. Just do it.
Do it.
You will have fun. And if you want to catch me, go to realm-maintenance.com. Follow me on Twitter at ROWOW, RHOWOW. You can follow Realm Maintenance at Realm Podcast. And yeah, that's about it. And I think I have, there's something in the contract that says I'm supposed to give you a hug. So
yes, there has to be a hug. So good to see you.
Thank you,
my friend.
man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ro. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Guys, Ro, wow, from Realm Maintenance. Now, up